Rocky.
Right. What's up, world? How's it going? Welcome to today's episode of
Throwing
Girls. And
With multiple girls this time.
let's wait till we get a few more folks in here. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. We're going to be doing our simultaneous sip. So, join us. Pull up your cup, your mug, your flask, your chalice, your vessel, and fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee. And join us for the simultaneous sip. Oh yeah, that actually was my first sip of the day, and I'm feeling it now.
You know, I did drink of someone my shower water.
Oh yeah? So you notice I'm actually wearing a nice shirt today and slacks.
I did accidentally drink some of my shower water, but
Oh yeah? That's not good. So is that a view that you hold that most people disagree with, that drinking shower water in the morning is a great way to start the day?
no, that's accidentally when I was trying to.
Oh, okay, alright. I thought you were trying to... I'm wearing a nice shirt this morning because I am out of my other shirts. It's like, oh no! I need to wear these dress clothes for work that I haven't worn in 9 months. So, yesterday Sumi and I did our Periscope, and we were asking the question, why? Greatest question ever.
Yeah.
But, we're like, there are other great questions
Mm-hmm.
that are just like a lot longer than why.
Right, yeah.
Part of what makes why such a great question is just like, it's so short.
It's so short, yeah.
You
So,
can basically axe it to anything.
oh yeah.
Almost.
Instant, interesting conversation generator is the question why. But that's not the question of today. The question of today is... Sumi, do you want to give the background story on the question of today?
So as part of my homeschooling, I was going around and interviewing some of our neighbors, and
Oh, yeah! Go ahead.
and
You
so
have to scooch over,
We're gonna scoochy.
even though you.
Keep talking, keep talking. You're doing great, doing great.
and so then one of the questions that I was asking our neighbors was, what's the point of view that you hold that not a lot of other people hold? So that's the backstory of this question.
What are the answers you got from these ladies?
Well, one of them was that she just thought she wanted to believe that everybody was like a good person.
A lot of people think that.
Yeah. So I mean,
Well, I think
So
that
let's ask everybody out there. So feel free to share your view that you believe most people don't agree with. Like a conviction that you have that differentiates you from most people.
also define the what do you mean by most people?
More than half.
How many people did you talk to?
So,
And, how do you gather your
so I
data?
think that's a little bit of a, okay, so some people be like, well, I don't know what most people think. So how do I know? I think it's a little bit of a cop-out. Like, you know, if you hold a view that a lot of the people that you talk to, you would be like, maybe be a little bit nervous to mention it to them. Or you know enough about the people in your circle to know that this is not something that is widely accepted, right, in terms of the way that you think about it. But it's a very useful question because one, people that hold views that not everybody holds, well, it's kind of interesting, right? This is something that you would want to probe deeper. Well, why do you think this? Oh, you believe in aliens? Oh, okay. Well, tell me why. You know?
Why?
So I also think it's a good practice to, as an individual, to think about things that you believe that you think most people don't, because it's an exercise in independent thinking, which is oh, careful, sweetie pie. It's an exercise in independent thinking that I also think relates to the how Americans can come together. This post that I wrote the other day. I'd eat a... Whoa. Okay. Okay. Well, okay, I'm going to say I brought up the topic. Somebody shared, I think it's a legitimate thought. Somebody mentioned that they'd be okay eating horses. People eat cows, people eat pigs. I actually think that this is a very interesting point. Biologically, it's basically the same thing. So my initial reaction, though, was a dead giveaway to my own personal views, because it's like, but they're horses.
Well, some parts of the world they eat horses, and they don't think it's a big.
That's true.
It's against most
That's true.
people's.
That's a really good one.
You
Whoever
can't go-
shared that one, that was a good one.
You
Yeah.
can't go eat onion though.
I think you
It's
also.
very popular in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to use that phrase more often.
Because it can be.
Even when it's not appropriate, I'm just going to be saying, well, it's very popular in Europe. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just putting on my scientific thinking hat on, like, when you say most people, you means like the most people you interact with daily. So as we're in United States, we're talking about like, okay, prevalent views we are exposed to here, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are very, very popular in other countries, but it's not here.
Okay. So somebody mentioned that they don't like cows or any meat. That's fine. There's a lot of vegetarians. That's a fairly... I'm still giving props to the number one so far as person who's like, what's the difference between a cow and a horse? Like, okay, that's a fair point. Oh, just don't like meat. Okay. I tried being a vegetarian for a week, and then the next week I ate 3 times more meat than usual. This is a net loss for the animals. I'm not going to do
Yeah.
that again.
Well, maybe 'cause
it's hard
you-
for me to do it.
You were raised to eat meat.
Maybe,
Right? People were
maybe.
raised differently.
All right, here's one. I have one.
Okay, yeah.
This is one that, to me, this is probably the highest conviction, but not so crazy I'm going to get in trouble for going publicly and saying this view. I do not understand why Americans, or like people in developed countries in general, why they're so obsessed with lawn grass. It's actually bad for the environment because the roots don't go very deep. So unlike prairie grass and other forms of life, like the vegetation that used to exist, like it's bad for the soil. It basically creates clay because the roots don't get down far enough. And then we spend all these fossil fuels trying to keep it at the right height.
What would be the
It's like
alternative?
it's like this big signaling, and then we spend all this time doing it too. So we're burning up fossil fuels. We're spending a lot of time going around trying to keep it at the right height. It's not even good for the ground. It's like this monoculture that almost nothing can live on it except like rabbits. And maybe like squirrels don't benefit from it.
They live up on
It's
the
not good for the
tree.
insects either. And then we put all these herbicides and pesticides trying to kill off dandelions because God forbid we have like other kinds of living vegetation in our yards besides grass. I just don't get it. This is, to me, it's like we're crazy. Everyone is so obsessed with 2 things: coffee and money. Lol. Yeah. If you're obsessed with coffee and money and you're an adult, this is not an atypical out of mainstream view. Americans like pretty useless things. There's no point. grow something you can eat. Amen. As soon as we bought this house, there was this house won like an award or something
For garden.
for gardening. First thing I did was I started pulling up all these bushes and started planting tomatoes. Like, I want something useful. And then I stopped doing some of that because it's so much work. But I planted a lot of things that just grow. Anyway, so that's one of my controversial views. It's
Maybe in the future we'll have gardens.
almost no American agrees with me, at least in terms of action. Right? Like, you can say you agree with me, but I look outside and it's just lawn after lawn after lawn after lawn after lawn. All right. So who else has one?
Mommy,
I was wondering, why when did this long thing took place, and like what's the alternative going forward if we all have gardens?
Well, one is you just let dandelions grow. Like, we don't we like our I'll tell the kids as soon as the dandelions come and they got the little seeds on them. I'm like, kids, go outside and blow the dandelion. You get to see them fly around. You get like at least a little bit of.
Oh yeah,
We got all these wild onions that are growing up that people hate. That I'm just like, we can eat them. Same thing with the bamboo. We let the bamboo go.
Yeah,
but
And then we stir fry the bamboo.
And then we
We
stir
stir
fry
fry
the
the
bamboo
bamboo
shoots, not
Yeah.
the bamboo. Just
Oh,
stir fry
yeah.
the bamboo probably won't.
We're not
taste very
pandas.
So, I mean, yeah. So I don't know. We're rebels, but not so much so that we drive our neighbors crazy. We still have grass.
good. Yeah.
We're just
And
not
we pick
actively
the
planting
onions
it.
and eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we cook it first.
If our grass slowly got
No, you
taken
can
over
eat
by
it raw.
clover, then
Remember when we found a huge one?
Oh yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
we could.
Dandelions are cool.
I mean,
They're
I
like-
thought about just planting like apple trees and stuff in the front yard
We
to the
do.
point that
Uh-huh.
in the front. No, we have it inside, but just like all over. That'd be
Yeah. Well, we also need to make
All right, let's think of more ideas.
our
More
neighbors
more
happy.
controversial.
I think
They don't have to be controversial. They just things you believe that most people don't believe, or that you think is like kind of not a mainstream view.
I think that one thing that I believe is that if it works, then it's fine to just get it, because some people they're
Get what?
for some people they going to the fancy stores to get really nice things, but I'm just
Like the
thinking
Home Depot.
not necessarily but
The Home Depot.
for me if
Home
it's,
Depot is not
if
that
I'm
fancy store.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Oh, I think
Sorry,
the Home
that's
Depot
just
is
the
fancy.
only store we go to.
it's-
other than-
That's my non-mainstream view. To me, Home Depot is the pinnacle of fanciness.
yeah.
It is.
Otherwise, we just go to Aldi because it's cheap.
It is.
Well, stuff is awesome.
Yeah,
It is.
and
Yeah.
so I just don't
Both of
think
those statements are true.
Yeah.
more.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean,
See me strike
I'm
more. I mean, people.
no,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, and I'm fine going to the thrift store to get stuff, and if something's
You
like
go
a
to the
little
thrift
bit,
store. Ew.
you go there too.
I still go to the thrift store.
And because if it still works, it's good stuff. So I don't see why you need to go to
Oh yeah.
all these
Oh
fancy
yeah.
places.
That's another really good one. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've
I mean,
had
the song is true.
this idea that if something
What song?
works.
What
Okay,
song?
so what you're saying about if it works, if it's functional, if it solves the problem,
then yeah.
why do you care about anything else?
Yeah.
Completely agree with that view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the song, the thrift store song.
Oh,
Oh,
what,
yeah.
what?
It's $5.
All right, yeah. What's up?
Yeah, and the
Thrift
thrift
store-
store is much cheaper.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
cheaper.
Yeah, I don't see why you need to
I
don't see
Should
why
we just
you
try
need
to
to-
do the I'm gonna pop some tag? Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, check it out. Thrift shop, Macklemore.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of cursing, so if you haven't talked to your kids about that yet, then just be careful.
I've got
That's
one.
another good one. I want to talk about cursing.
Oh,
Well, I've got one.
All right,
Okay, Mommy,
you go
Mommy.
ahead, mommy.
Well, I believe or I like to be able to be honest, say with my children or with my family, or I want my family to be honest with me, kind of regarding, say my weight.
Oh, whoa. Now that's, okay, high fives. That is definitely not mainstream.
Yeah,
I know it's,
This is, you're going to have to explain that one, because,
Well, I think, I came from China, in China, people just, if I put on a few weight, I will know right away because my mom would tell me, or my aunts would tell me, or if I lost a few pounds, they will tell me too. So
That's
it's just,
Chinese mothers and grandmothers are, what's the word? They are
blunt.
extremely blunt.
You look like you're homeless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Who is that? Jimmy Yang?
Yeah.
Jimmy
Your
Yang stand up?
hair is gay.
He's a gay.
Your clothes look like you
look
are
homeless.
Homeless. Oh man, if you haven't seen
Your
Jimmy
face
Yang's,
is so fat.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Jimmy Yang stand up, another one, a lot of cursing. So if you haven't talked to your kids about curse words, you're not comfortable. Don't go there. But really funny. So yeah, so that's so powerful though. Like you telling the kids that, I was like, really? So Dr. McPhail's like, if you guys see
I
me,
want my kids to tell me if I'm like putting on a few pounds, without, and still kind of gobbling up at the middle of the night. My kids can tell me that.
But you're doing intermittent fasting, so you're losing.
that's so incredibly out of the mainstream. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever heard of a
Person.
single other. Well, guys just don't really care as much, but
Right, yeah.
women, like the expectations, this is not a good thing. But like the expectations with women are probably different. At least my perception of it is different. And so, like for a woman to say to her children, if you guys see me like putting on some extra weight, I want you to tell me and like be honest with me about it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met another woman that would say that to her children.
Well, including you, I want you to be honest
Oh,
with
husband,
me
I
too.
have to be really careful with. I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful every day that you guys don't kick me out and change the keys.
But my goal is that I set up an example so, for my girls,
Yeah.
if it comes time, I want to be honest with them.
That definitely sets like a precedent of honesty that opens the door to communication going both ways. Because if you can come to them and be like, hey, I told you that if I'm putting on some extra weight, I want to hear from you. Well, guess what? There's something you've been doing lately that I think I need to comment on because you're going to regret it if I don't. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Because I will regret it if I kind of, keep on doing the things I was,
Yeah.
brings larger consequences that it.
All right,
takes
that
a
one
lot
takes
more
the cake.
discipline.
That one, in my view, takes the cake as even more of one of these, like, it's definitely beneficial, but it's so far from being a mainstream view.
Yeah.
It's even, it takes the cake over the horse versus cows and why people are fine eating one over the other. I think we got a new winner.
Yeah.
We got a new number one spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is just for family. I'm not going outside.
We won't tell anybody that you said
but
that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my
Oh,
place.
okay.
It's not
Yeah, other
my
people-
place to tell others.
Oh, of course.
that-
Right, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Also, right, I just want people.
That's not
close
the
to
case,
me.
though, when
Yes.
it comes to lawn grass.
Uh-huh.
If you care about the planet, we need to find a new way to do this, people. Come on.
Yeah.
Come
It's
on,
like you're gonna
Elon.
randomly
Let them
go.
dandelions
so
grow.
Sally, it seems like.
Don't wanna.
What about
Randomly
Elon Musk?
start.
Elon Musk might be able to lop up something to fix that problem.
I mean, all we need to do is like plant
You-
clover.
you
We
might-
can just plant clover everywhere, and you don't have to mow it.
Or like.
We should actually do this.
Or like dirt. Dirt's fine.
That's what we did before.
If you just
Yeah.
let
If you
the
just-
grass grow,
What's wrong with
though, it'll
dirt?
become a jungle.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can't
that's
do that.
true. We can't
If
do
we
that.
let the leaves fall and kill all the grass, then we won't have to mow.
Yeah, and then what? Like,
We won't
what's
have to
wrong
rake the
with
leaves
dirt?
either. That would be one solution. We'll
And
have
then
to
we
think
can
about it.
plant clover.
Yes.
What is clover?
Clover is like the 3-leaf things. Sometimes you can find
Oh
a 4.
yeah,
That's good luck.
those ones.
All right. Should I talk about my philosophy on cursing?
Still green, so it's like from far away. It doesn't look as
Yeah.
odd.
Should I share my philosophy on cursing without cursing?
Sure.
Okay, I'm not gonna curse. Don't worry. All right.
Think about all the vegetables we can have if every yard is a garden.
I know that would be so awesome.
I know.
We should totally do that.
We should have way more.
Starting
gardens.
now in December,
We should have more what?
we should plant vegetables.
Right.
In
yeah.
December.
In December, because that's how you're supposed
That's
to
how
do
you're
it.
supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Sume just wrote an article on vertical
Farming.
agriculture farming for makeshift homeschool. Maybe
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
should check that out and see how we can implement that.
Yeah, well, still my thinking
Um,
was you can grow
One
these.
of the companies is
Extra violet lights.
is
Violent lights?
Violet.
No, they don't use those. They use LED lights.
I mean ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet.
No, they use LED lights, but
But you can get sunlight from ultraviolet.
All right. So just for those joining, we're talking about beliefs that we hold that we think most people don't hold those same views. Like they don't have to be controversial. They often are controversial.
yeah.
But just something that differentiates you in the way that you think, beliefs you hold. They could be values that you have. We've talked through a whole bunch. This is one of my favorite discussions we've had on Periscope in a while. That we've had a whole bunch. Well, one person came in, pointed out that, like, well, why is it that we are perfectly fine eating cows, but we don't eat horses, even though they're biologically almost the same? I thought that was a really good point, even though my initial reaction was just like, whoa. So I get that.
Yeah.
We're talking about honesty about things that are really sensitive, like, you know, whether or not
With
we're putting on some
close
extra
family.
weight. With close family, yeah, only with close family. We don't
Yeah.
want random people that are watching our Periscope down the street being like, Joe, you're fat! Stop eating all them donuts! Like, we don't need that,
Yeah.
okay? Why people are obsessed with lawn grass. Like, oh, and also, like, so there's a couple other ones I want to hit. One, Sume already hit, which is like this idea of how when you buy things, this idea that like you want to get so much more out of it than functionality.
Yeah.
So we moved here 10 years ago, and we went to the thrift store, bought a table, got some chairs, super awesome deal. It was like $50 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Still got the same ones. They work great.
Yeah.
When you sit on the chair, you don't fall off. You know? And the table holds stuff. I love it. Anyway, but
Is it those ones?
Like
Yeah.
probably.
Whoa.
yeah, we still have that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought you got it from like some fancy place.
No.
No thrift.
No, people go out and buy. They'll drop like $5,000-$10,000 on a table. $50.
I like half
For
my
all of
clothes.
it?
Half my
Basically,
Actually,
yeah.
clothes.
250.
Half my clothes are like hand-me-downs or from the thrift.
Oh, I can show them my hand-me-down shoes.
Not right now, because I want to talk about cursing.
Okay.
All right.
Because it literally is like the half is like sort of like falling off. It's got some paper. It still works.
All right. So this is going to sound really weird to parents, but here's the logic. Your kids are going to find out about cursing.
Oh.
So the question is, yeah, I know, right? Shocker.
Wow.
So the question is, how do you want them to find out?
Probably not through their like kids at school.
Probably not,
Yeah.
because they're gonna like screw it up. I remember there were kids. That's how I learned. I learned at school, and in elementary school, it was like 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah. People.
All these kids start
now.
learning cursing, and if the parents don't talk to the kids, there's like a bunch of missed opportunities. One, the parents, how do you avoid it, right? So if the kid walks up, and I'm not going to curse now, although I would curse in front of my children. I talked to my kids about cursing, and I basically said this. Here's how this differentiates. So I said, okay, here are some curse words. Here's generally why people use these words, the context in which I give them examples. Then I'd say, okay, there's basically no context in which a child can use a curse word and the people around them will think more highly of them. And for adults, it's very hard to use curse words appropriately.
Yeah.
But they can be used to, in certain contexts very effectively. Mostly if you're trying to make a point, like a really important point, and you're around people that you know.
Or you're
then,
trying to convey like a really strong emotion.
Right. And then there's one profession that gets carte blanche, like they can use cursing anytime they want. Comedians. Because it's like part of what they're doing is like taboo is part of what makes humor, it's part of what creates humor is that you're talking about things that make people slightly uncomfortable. Right?
Yeah.
So I had this conversation with them. Now here's the difference. If you go to school and you learn about cursing from your friends, first of all, whoever starts to learn the curse words first gets to be cool. It's true though, because and it's because they're doing stuff that adults do that they're not supposed to do. It's the same reason why a lot of young people get caught up doing stupid stuff like smoking and drinking when they're in high school and earlier, right? Or like engaging in certain kinds of behavior with folks of the opposite gender before they can pay for babies, things like that. A big part of it is like, to be cool, you have to act like the big people.
Right.
Right? So basically by doing this, I completely took this card away from the cool kids. Because then when the cool kids are all like, you want to know this word that adults use that we're not supposed to say? And then like Sumi and I can be like, I already know all those words. Actually, my dad like wrote out a list and explained what they all mean. It's like, what else you got?
Might be driven by others.
There are other reasons why people do that too. Right. But the point is you take that away. And you also build a whole lot of street cred with your kids. Mm-hmm. So you're like, oh, my dad just sat me down and explained all these curse words. He trusts me. I should probably not screw that up too badly.
Yeah.
Way different than if it's like, it's so funny. I've been around grown-ups when they were with their kids watching a movie and all of a sudden like there's a curse word and they didn't expect it. And then like they're like real quiet and they'll try to like, I hope they didn't hear anything. Almost like somebody farted and everybody heard it, but they're like trying to pretend like it didn't happen. Right? Or they'll try to shrug it off and be like, no, they didn't say that. They said beach. They're going to the beach. Like whatever. And when they do that, they're really telling their child, because the children are smarter than the parents, right? So the children hear that, and what are they hearing? They're hearing, I don't trust you with the truth. And so I'm going to basically I'm lying to you, or I'm going to hide the truth from you.
Yeah.
Because I think that you don't deserve to know. And what kind of message does that send? As opposed to then they go to school and then the guy like, yo, you want to know what this word is? Check this out. And then all of a sudden they're building that relationship and that trust instead.
Other parents had good intentions.
The world is paved with good intentions.
It's
all good intentions.
To be exposed
Does it mean
to
that it's helpful? But that's how I started this. They're gonna find out.
Mm-hmm.
So parents that are trying to hide it, you're not succeeding unless you only the only way to do it is if you keep them in the house. Like if there was some magical force that forced everybody to stay in their houses and not leave.
Maybe like a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like a big year for parents who are trying to shield their children from curse words. They could probably do it in 2020.
Yeah.
As soon as these vaccines go out, we go back to normal.
Nope.
Not gonna happen. So anyway, that's one. I had to explain that because I just put a lot of thought into it because it's such a weird thing. Am I the only parent doing this? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I haven't found another parent.
Except for Mama.
And also, if you do curse around your kids, then they get desensitized, I guess. And then when other people do it, which they like, you're probably gonna hear a few in your life. Like it's kind of hard to avoid. But then you won't just like freak out, and because it's still part of the language. It's still just another word. It just has like a more
It's just like sounds.
heavy like meaning, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, if you're
like-
so shocked by hearing them that you can't actually follow the plot, then there's a lot of movies, like PG-13 movies, that kids can't watch because they don't know the word, so they don't, like, it's part of the English language.
Yeah.
Like, you need to know what the words mean, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not, like, the exact definitions, but,
Right.
like, the general context and why they're being used.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're so shocked by the word that you just can't even like watch or pay attention to the plot, it kind of detracts from a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Unless you like the shocking, like aesthetic feeling.
yeah, a lot of humor and a lot of movies seem to be built around shock value. I'm not a big shock value kind of person.
Me neither.
Do we got any more non-mainstream views that we want to discuss? So we're basically taking from the audience here. We're taking views that people hold that they believe are not shared by most people, and we think that this is a really cool exercise in terms of thinking individually, thinking about what differentiates you as an individual. It's a good critical thinking exercise. It also helps to identify, Sume started this by explaining that this is something she does as part of her homeschooling. She interviews other adults and asks them this question as a way to probe for like what makes this person different so that she can know what follow-up questions to ask, because it helps to identify what makes this person an individual. So we're happy to hear other people's thoughts if they have any. Otherwise, we may wrap this up here because we got a lot of things to do.
Time to go to work.
Can't wait to turn this off so I can start cursing at my kids again.
What?
I'm kidding. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll be on tomorrow.
This episode of
Throwing
Throwing
Girls and Mom.
and Mom.
And Mom.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
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 Crack it.